Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. I am so excited to share with you guys one of my all-time favorite fall desserts. I'm going to make the best pumpkin donuts. These are so incredible, super aromatic, really light and fluffy, and just so delicious. But I'm gonna make it even better. I'm gonna show you two versions of pumpkin donuts. Regular pumpkin donuts, fried and then dipped in cinnamon sugar, and we're gonna use the exact same recipe, but then add some whipped cream pumpkin filling on the inside. They're just ridiculously good. Let me show you how to make these. All right, and for these pumpkin donuts, I'm using a classic yeast dough recipe. In my mixing bowl, I have 1 cup of whole milk. I just warmed it up in the microwave. You want it to be just lukewarm, not too hot, or otherwise it's gonna kill the yeast. And to that, I'm going to add in 1 cup of sugar. Just give that a quick whisk, and then I'm going to sprinkle on 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. Just let the yeast stand for a few minutes, and then into that we're going to add in a 1/3 cup of melted butter. Make sure you let the butter cool down. You don't want it to be too hot. Add in 1 large egg, teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now this next addition is optional, but you guys are absolutely going to love this. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of maple extract, and I'll include this product up on my blog post so you guys can order it online. And I'm also going to add in 1 cup of pure, unflavored, unseasoned pumpkin puree. And then just whisk this all together for a few minutes. Next up, I have 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. It's gonna add so much incredible flavor. And then I'm going to grate in a teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. Mix that in. And then we're gonna be ready to start adding our flour. I've measured out 5½ cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna gradually start adding that in. Now use a whisk at first, and then as the dough starts to pull together, I'll switch over to a spatula. So I'm gonna turn it out onto my work surface and bring this dough together. And the secret to making really great donuts is a super soft dough. So knead it for about 4 to 5 minutes. You want it to be really elastic, but the dough should stay just slightly sticky. Dust it periodically so it's easier to knead, but you don't want it to be too hard. All right, my dough is all done. I've placed it back into my mixing bowl. I'm going to cover it with a clean towel, tuck it away into a warm corner of my kitchen, and let it proof for about 1.5 hours until it's doubled up in size, and then we'll come back to shape these and fry them. All right, my dough has proofed, and now it's time to shape these donuts. And just a few minutes ago, I started preheating my oil. So I have about 10 cups of canola oil in a cast iron brazier. You can use any kind of pan. Just make sure to preheat the oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. While it's preheating, we'll start rolling and shaping out these donuts. So just turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface and grab your rolling pin. We're gonna roll the dough out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. You want it to be kind of on the thicker side, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick. And now I have 2 different types of cutters here. I have a classic donut cutter. I'm going to leave this product up on my blog post so you guys can order it online, or you can use just a regular one. This is the type of cutter you'll need. It's about a 3½ inch if you wanna make the stuffed donuts. So these are for the regular ones, these are for the stuffed ones. Let's start with some regular donuts. And once that oil is nice and hot, carefully drop those donuts right in. And you want to fry the donuts until they're a rich golden brown color, then turn them over and cook them on the other side as well. So it takes about 5 to 7 minutes to cook 1 batch of donuts. So as the pumpkin donuts finish cooking, just grab a pair of tongs, gently remove them from the oil, and then place them onto a cooling rack lined with paper towels. And I also have my cinnamon sugar ready. So I have 1 cup of 1 cup of sugar. Don't do 1 cup of cinnamon. 1 cup of sugar with a tablespoon of cinnamon. and we're actually gonna dip the donuts into that sugar while they're still nice and hot. I'm gonna take these out and drop a new batch of donuts in. All right, just grab your tongs, toss that donut around. Should be nicely coated. You wanna do this while they're still hot, so about like 30 seconds after you take them out. That way the sugar is gonna really stick to them. And while that first batch of donuts is frying away, I'm gonna get started on the second batch. So these are gonna be the donuts that we're going to fill with the pumpkin whipped cream filling. So again, roll it out anywhere between 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick. Grab the round cutter. I'm gonna cut out as many as I can. And we're gonna fry these donuts just the same as the other ones. Drop them into the hot oil. And then the donuts that we're going to fill with the pumpkin whipped cream, I'm also going to sugar coat those. So as my donuts are cooling, I'm quickly going to put together the pumpkin whipped cream. So I have 8 ounces of cream cheese. You can also use mascarpone. Just place that into the mixer bowl, and then I soften this at room temperature. Nice and soft. And I'm just gonna whisk this for a couple minutes until it's nice and smooth. And into the cream cheese, I'm going to add the rest of my pumpkin puree. I opened a 15-ounce can for this recipe, and so I have about 3/4 cups left in the can, so I'm gonna use all of that. Next, I'll add in a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of my maple extract. And again, I'll have that linked on my blog post. Give this a mix for about 30 seconds. And make sure you're scraping down the sides of your mixing bowl so all that cream cheese and that pumpkin are well combined. And now it's time for that confectioner's sugar. So I'm going to add in 2 cups of confectioner's sugar. You can add less if you want the filling to be less sweet. And give this a mix for a minute. And now for the last ingredient, going in 1 cup of chilled heavy cream. I'm gonna pour that right in. And I'm gonna mix this just until I get stiff peaks. Make sure you don't overmix this step, otherwise the filling will separate and then you're gonna have to start all over again. And when you're doing the filled donuts, you wanna make sure that they cool down completely before you start adding the filling on the inside. Just grab a sharp knife and create like a little pocket so you can actually put in the piping tip. I'm gonna do that from both sides. Perfect. And then to fill these, I transfer the pumpkin whipped cream filling into a pastry bag. I'm using a simple star tip, or you can use a filling tip, and then just pipe the donuts full of that whipped cream. And that's it, guys, for my pumpkin donuts. These look so good. I wanted to make one final note before I dig in and enjoy. The filling recipe that I made today would be enough for an entire batch of donuts. So if you want to do like half plain and half filled, then just cut that recipe in half. And I can't wait to dig in. I actually really want to try one of these filled. They look so, so good. And that pumpkin whipped cream filling is just to die for. Wow, this is beyond good. I think donuts this good should be illegal because you're gonna eat way too many of them. They're so, so good. I love the texture of the donut itself. It's really light and fluffy and it has that true pumpkin flavor to it. Also has loads of cinnamon, a little bit hint of that nutmeg, and I love the cinnamon sugar on the outside. But let me tell you guys, that filling on the inside really takes these over the top. So, so good with that pumpkin whipped cream filling on the inside. If you guys love pumpkin donuts, this recipe is a must try. Just head on down into the video description box. I've left a link that'll take you over to my blog where you can find the full printable recipe for yourself and also share it with all your family and friends. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and I'll see you next time.